Hi everyone, I want to talk to you about my pair of customized Audio-Technica M40X, and this is going to go for the M50X and I believe the M70, 20, and 30, provided that they all use the same cable system. I know for a fact they use the same pads with the exception of the M60X, but those are a little bit different. So this will cover the 40 and 50 for sure, and if you have one of the others, just make sure that you use the same pads and cables and all that. But I want to talk to you about the three things that I didn't like about this headphone and how I fixed them. So the three things I'm going to cover in no particular order are comfort, sound, and, well, let's just say usability. The comfort was lacking for me, in my personal use and experience with them. It was just not there, and the reason mostly for that was due to the stock pads that it came with, and the stock pads are pretty awful, to be honest. They're not very good. They are made of like a pleather type material. See if I can get my camera to focus. They're not very deep. There's really no depth to them, and they're very cheaply made. You can kind of tell by the shininess of it, and the foam is just kind of stiff. It's not memory foam or anything like that, and I don't like the stock pads. So the first thing I did was I changed to these, I do not remember the name. They're not Deconi, they're Sound Engineering or something like that. M50X velour pads. And these were better, but again, they use the same exact stock shape as the M40X pads, like the stock pads, and don't provide any additional depth or anything like that. So while these are more comfortable because of the texture and the material, the foam, I guess, is a little bit better, but no improvement in size or shape. So, and the other issue with these is that when you have pads that are this small and this thin, when the driver sits this close to your ear, you get a lot of muffled mid-range and lower bass, to be honest. So like the bass just doesn't have room to grow and expand. So unfortunately, no, that's just the situation with the stock pads. So I changed them, of course, and you guys know I like the Brainwave's HM5 pads, and these fit, I would say, about 98% perfectly. Not perfectly, but you know, they're about a 98% fit to these. The only thing that I could say is that there's a little bit of extra material right at the top here, and that's okay. But you honestly won't notice it, and you probably wouldn't even notice it unless I told you. So these are the HM5 in pleather. Super great pads, love them. And these are gray ones, just to kind of be a little bit different. So the pads for these fixed most of the comfort issues, and any other leftover comfort issues or underlying comfort issues are going to be from the headband. HM5 pads are just about the most comfortable thing you can fit on your head for $20, so I really like them for that reason. So that's the comfort issue out of the way. The sound issue kind of went hand in hand with that, and these really opened them up and gave them some proper sound stage and brought up the bass just a little bit, but not as overpowering as like the monopriced modern retros, for example. And I think that by elevating the bass and unmuddling the mid-range, these are very good analytical headphones now. And the soundstage is very wide. It's not the widest that I've heard, but it's pretty dang wide for a closed back set of headphones. And as much as I said I don't like these, and I didn't like them before, I do like them now, and I do like them after I've made these modifications to it. So they're totally usable headphones. Just know that you're gonna have to put a couple dollars in to pads at least, and you know, that'll fix 2 of the 3 issues, at least, you know, the issues I had with it. So that covers the comfort and sound. And now we're gonna go to more subjective one. It's called usability. And for me, the usability problem mostly stems from 2 things. One of which I managed to fix, the other I have not. The first, let's go over the one I didn't manage to fix yet. I don't want these to fold anymore. So like, I don't mind that they turn and they rotate like this. It's not a big deal. I don't want these to do this. This really bothers me. I get it. It's super useful for those of you on the go and things like that. And this is probably just a minor complaint, but I would really prefer if these just locked or had some sort of locking mechanism and they didn't do this. Because every time I pick them up, I set them on my desk. I pick them up by one hand. Of course, they didn't do it when I just did it like that, but I always manage to flip them closed, and I have to spend a few seconds just figuring it out and undoing them. So that's the first usability little gripe, and I know it's a small problem and a small complaint, so I'm not like taking points off of the headphone for this. However, the second point is that the stock cable mount is awful, and really there's no other reason for it besides the fact that Audio-Technica wants you to use their cables and wants you to spend money on their cables. And here's the stock cable, and hopefully the camera will focus on it. So you guys have heard me gripe about this before, but this is a 2.5mm locking cable, so you insert it and you just give it a little twist and it locks in. Well, the problem with that is that you can't use a standard 3.5mm cable. And what I've done is modify this to use a standard 3.5. As you can see, there's a little adapter sticking out there. This is probably the easiest mod you can do to your Audio-Technica headphones, whether it's the M40X or the M50X. Those are the 2 most common, and really everyone should do this. There's no reason you shouldn't do it. Here's the adapter I used. It's a simple 2.5 to 3.5. It's a metal adapter, and all you have to do is pull one of the ear pads off, or not one of the ear pads, but pull the ear pad with the cable attachment, pull it off. There's 4 screws holding the driver onto the main frame. Pull that off and gently just set it on the table. And then there's 4 screws on the other side of this, on the inside, and 2 are holding this locking retention piece. 2 are holding this in, and 2 are holding a green PCB in with the 2.5 connector. You have to remove all 4 screws, and then what you do is you just pull that little black piece out, replace all 4 screws. The 2 screws will just screw in there, so if you ever want to put this back in, you can. It's not a permanent modification. And I don't even believe this voids your warranty because there's no warranty stickers or anything underneath there. So I don't see how they could tell if you open up your headphone or not. So of course, do this at your own risk. It's not that hard. It's literally 4 screws to get into the driver and 4 screws to take the headphone jack out. And they're just Phillips screws. They're nothing special. And then what you do is, since you have nothing in there, you just insert the 3.5 adapter. And it just kind of sits there. Sorry about that, I didn't mute my laptop. And it works normally. And I've tested these extensively with the 3.5 adapter. It sticks out just a little bit. But now you can use any cable. And the cable that I use with mine is I just did it again. It's a 3.5 monoprice. It's metal ends and very, very thin cable. And it's a 3-foot long cable. And it works just fine. I really, really like this cable. It's not very expensive. I think it's $1.90 or something on Monoprice, and it works great. Now, when I pull this out, the adapter does come out with the cable, so keep that in mind. If you're careful, it'll stay in there, and you can kind of do it. But it's so easy to put this in. It's almost like it was designed to fit that adapter. Now, if someone made an adapter to use the stock Audio-Technica locking system, man, they would have a lot of money. Because you wouldn't have to do any internal modification. You could just plug that guy in, twist it, and then it would lock in, and that adapter would lock in. Maybe I'll see if I can make one or prototype one. But of course, the coolest thing about being able to use 3.5 is the v-moda Boom Pro. And I'm sure you've heard me talk about this microphone and other headphone reviews, but I can put them on the right way. Using these, you can now use the v-moda Boom Pro. And turn these into a really, really great gaming headset. And because they have such an analytical and even sound and decent soundstage and very, very good imaging within that soundstage. So remember, soundstage is how far apart things sound, and imaging is the resolution, as how clear and defined it sounds in between that soundstage. So I would say the soundstage is not very wide. I mean, it's decently wide, but the resolution and imaging is very, very good within that. So these would make a very, very good gaming headset. And honestly, that's what I'm going to be using for a while for gaming. So if I'm playing PUBG or anything like that online, I'm going to be using these. I do prefer the HyperX Cloud 2s with the pads as far as a fun standpoint. They've got way more bass, but they do have a couple weird dips in the upper range where there's just a couple nulls, where like in the 4,500 range where the sound just like kind of cuts off and comes back. So not as good from an analytical or maybe a competitive standpoint, but if I'm playing like, I don't know, something single player and just, loud explosions everywhere, I'm going to be using those. But competitive and, PUBG, things like that, these are going to be the ones. So really, my biggest gripe was this guy, or not having this adapter in there, and being forced to use this ridiculous stock cable. And now you're going to tell me, oh well, they come with 2 stock cables and one of them's coiled. Well, you're right, the other cable is coiled, but it looks like a telephone wire from the 90s. And also, it has the same mass as this cable because it's the same length cable. It's just coiled up into like a little spiral. And the problem is, when you're on the go, I don't want that shit in my pocket because it's a lot of mass to carry around. And quite honestly, it's just a pain in the ass. It's a lot. Whereas I can get this 3 foot, I fold it over once like this, and a little nice 3.5 cable. I mean, it becomes so straight. It doesn't coil up. It doesn't bunch up on itself. It looks super nice. And, I can use it with these guys. I think that just looks... Hopefully it'll focus on that. I think that looks super awesome. I know it's different color of metal and different chrome and all that, but I've got kind of a gray and black and silver and chrome color scheme on this. So we got the chrome up here and the chrome here, like silver, and then the dark gray where the pad, stop folding. I've got the dark gray where the pad attaches, the light gray, and then silver chrome here, and then the dark chrome here. I just think it's a cool looking set of headphones now. I really, really like the way it's come together. And like I said, this cable is just long enough to reach into my pocket. I don't have to stuff any more of it in my pocket. So if nothing else, and you don't mind the stock pads, don't even worry about it. Buy a pair of these 2.5 to 3.5 adapters online. I will link them in the description below. Please mod these. Get rid of the freaking stock cable. Stop allowing Audio-Technica to push their cable BS. And yeah, fix it. So that's pretty much all I have to say about these. I really do like them now, but it's taken me quite a few steps to get them to the point where I really enjoy them. And I know that other people have done the same thing, and I think honestly there's better value headphones out there for the money. But if you do happen upon a pair of M40Xs, like I got these for 70 bucks, brand new. And if you do happen to pair upon these and you know, get a pair for a decent amount, and then you can get pads for 25 bucks, and then a pair of these adapters for $2, then you have a really, really good pair of $100 headphones, and you don't really have any downsides. So it's just something to think about. And like I said, you can do this with M40 or M50Xs, and probably 20s and 30s. I think they're the same, but again, just double check. It's not that hard to do. Just double check, make sure you use the same sort of locking mechanism for these. I think the only difference on the 20 and 30 are the drivers, so just keep that in mind. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I know it's been quite a long one for me talking about a pair of headphones I didn't really like that much, and now I like them enough to talk about them. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully this helped you guys out there that have M40 and M50X headphones. And yeah, hopefully you don't hate me for not liking them, but I do like them. So yeah. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Thanks to everyone that support me on Patreon, and we've had a good run so far, and it's been about 13 months, and we're still growing and all that. So we have more server content coming this week and weekend, so look forward to that, and I will see you guys next time.